Hello, BookTube. It's Tuesday, and that means Tag Tuesday, where everybody on BookTube tags each other with whatever's going around or whatever strikes their fancy. Always a bit of a fraught time for me because nobody ever tags me, because all of BookTube hates me, because I'm an outcast, a leper, a pariah, because I smell. So I can watch people do tags, but I am never tagged in them. And sometimes they strike my fancy, and one of them did actually struck my fancy weeks ago, and I didn't do it then when I saw it on the original channel. But then recently, just today, I saw Mike at Riff Raff's Reading Renaissance do it, and every version of this that I've seen has been interesting, so I thought I'd do it myself. It's the Perfection of Reading tag, made by Lekden at Reading from the Depths, who starts it off with a Buddhist preamble. He is our Buddhist booktuber. The Tibetan Buddhist instruction to live a meaningful life is to try to live the life of a bodhisattva, a person or being who has totally dedicated their life to benefiting others. The 6 perfections, known as the pāramitās in Sanskrit, are 6 types of enlightened activity that make up the bodhisattva's conduct with ordinary people are encouraged to try and realize in their own lives. This original book tag is celebrating those 6 and exploring how they might be reflected in our reading lives. In addition to answering each prompt, also recommend a book that you feel embodies that particular perfection as you understand it. And here are the prompts, which are the 6 perfections. Number 1 is the perfection of generosity, which has not, so far, tickled the ribs of anybody who's done this tag, since no one has been generous enough to tag me. What is an experience of either book gifting? I'm going to use the word giving. I do not know why we have retired the word giving. I have no idea, but I'm going to use the word giving, or book receiving that was meaningful or memorable to you. When it comes to book giving, the meaning would have to be in the hands of other people to say. I am very generous with books. I love to give books to people. I love to find books for people, even if they haven't set me to that task, even if they think that I haven't paid attention to what it is they're lacking. I love to do that. I've always loved to do that. I suppose it's possible that I'm just generous, period. I'm certainly generous of my time. I'm generous of my attention. I'm generous of my energy. There's a particular canine thing. I'm very, very generous of my support. I'm very good at believing in people. But when it comes to books, I don't have an answer to the question, because it would have to be to the people who have received books from me. But when it comes to receiving books, someone giving me a book, someone gave me a book. It was the Adagia. It was the adages of the Dutch humanist Erasmus. It was from 1500. It was the first edition of the adages, and it was heavily personally annotated. Notes, commentary, and also doodles. The person who did the annotation never refrained from doing doodles. And that was given under circumstances that were really, really meaningful to me. And that book is not here at Hyde Cottage. I actually keep it in a safe deposit box. That flies totally in the face of what I usually think about books at all. If they're not here and being bashed all around the room, then I don't want them. But that was given to me under special circumstances, and it meant a lot. So I keep that one safe. I don't know why. I can't use it. What I wouldn't give, actually, to have, not that version is unique, but what I wouldn't give to have a nice, big, 1,000-page floppy Penguin classic of the Adagia. One of the best-selling books in Europe for like 10 years. Not the one that is in the safe deposit box, but Erasmus kept adding to it. It was successful. So almost every time that it got reprinted, he would add to it. So that by the end, it was huge. What I wouldn't give if Penguin would do that, but no. But anyway, I worked Erasmus into the tag right away. Then we have number 2, the perfection of ethical discipline. What are your best and worst reading habits? And I think my worst reading habit, it's going to sound strange coming from me on this channel, is being overly critical of books. I'm a critical reader, of course. I am. I always have been. I am a book critic. I don't turn it on and off anymore. I can't do it. Critical reading just means that you are really bearing down, you're paying close analytical attention to what you're doing. Has that word been used too many times? Is that device tired or obvious? Is the author drawing parallels here in their story without realizing it? The way you'll know they don't realize it if they're not capitalizing on it. Is this scene effective? Does this character show up and then disappear? In the writing of nonfiction, is this good prose? Is it enjoyable? Is it dumbing things down? There's a non-critical way to read where you are just reading, and that part of your reading mind is off. And I don't turn it off anymore. I just leave it on. I only read that way, and I love it. But sometimes I have to check it just a bit. Usually with a lot of indulgent rereading. The more indulgent my rereading is, the less critical I am. Because I've thought all the critical thoughts already, so I don't have anything to really prize out of the work at that point. If I don't do that for a while, if I don't even my keel a little like that, I can go into a new work, not just saying, okay, you have a blank slate, I'm giving you a blank slate, and I'm waiting. You're going to clear your throat for a while, probably, and then after a little while, once you hit your stride, you're either going to please me, which is all I want in reading, it's all any of us want, or you're going to start to annoy me. You're going to do one of those two things, but I'm going to start off nice and even. There's no point in any of it if I don't start off even, because I'll be robbing myself of pleasure, or I'll be exaggerating the negatives. And even though I know that intellectually, sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I go into a book overly critical and have to check myself, I hope. So that's my negative. And my positive is that I'm omnivorous. I'm an omnivorous reader, which I view as a positive thing. I don't think it's a good idea to be cloistered in your reading when you only have the one reading lifetime and the whole world of books is out there. So I'm going to call that a positive. Then prompt number 3 is the perfection of patience. What is a book that you anxiously waited for and did it live up to your expectations you set for it? This is the story of my life. This happens all the time, where I will know that a book is coming. I for those of you who are new to my channel, I mostly read new releases in the American book market, and I patrol those new releases because I get them from publishers. I don't go out to bookstores and buy any releases. First of all, Boston doesn't have any bookstores that want me as a customer, and second, that's expensive. I don't want to pay for books. So I will know that books are coming a lot of the time. Most of the time, a book cannot surprise me. So I will know that it's coming, and some of them, of course, are closer to my interest than others, so some of them will attract more of my attention than others. And that, I always tell myself, attention is one thing, but don't be anxious. Don't anticipate, because you're just laying yourself open for disappointment. And yet, I do, naturally. So I will see a book coming down the pike. What's a good example? I can just look at my bookshelves and see. I will look at a book coming down the pike, and I will know, all right, I'm going to enjoy you, or you're going to annoy me, and I'm going to not enjoy you, or you're going to annoy me, and I am going to enjoy you. Like Andrew Roberts' book, The Last King, his big biography of King George III, who quartered troops on Boston Common. I knew Andrew Roberts is a bit of a contrarian. He had already written a big book saying how great Napoleon was. So I knew that was coming, and I knew that it would probably irritate me in a pleasant way and that I would really enjoy it, and both of those things were true. So there, my expectations were definitely fulfilled. But then there's, like, for instance, you really, if an author has meant as much to you as Thomas Pynchon has, to me, you will know that he has a new book coming out, and you will eagerly anticipate it. And it doesn't matter that your thinking part of your brain is telling you, well, he's 90, and his powers were obviously failing in his last book, so you shouldn't be getting your hopes up for this thing. You really shouldn't. Even though the thinking part of your brain is telling you that, it's still a new Pynchon. And it ended up disappointing me, and so on and so forth. I mean, all the way down the line. And usually, that doesn't happen in either direction. Usually, a book just sets out what it wants to do and then does that. And I don't have any high expectations. It never actually excites me. And it never seriously disappoints me either. So I just like it. That's all. I read it and think, all right, that was worthily done, and then I move on. It's the peaks and valleys that are the fodder for anticipation here, and it happens all the time. I could for in answer to this prompt, I could list thousands and thousands, but it happens to me hundreds of times a year. Number 4 is the perfection of joyful effort. I love that phrase, joyful effort. That is wonderful. What is a book or series that you found difficult to complete but found to be ultimately worthwhile? And here I might quibble a little with difficult to complete, but I think always here in this case of the University of Chicago did a big multi-volume translation of the Mahabharata, which is an impenetrable text. Most of it is impenetrable to me anyway, just for cultural reasons. But they did a fully annotated, unabridged English translation of the Mahabharata, which is an immense work, just gigantic. And once I had access to those trade paperbacks, I told myself, okay, this was a long, long time ago. I said, you're going to sit down with this, and you're going to grapple with this, and you're going to get all the way from the beginning to the end, and you're going to make as much sense of it as you can. And I did. But boy, it was not easy, and I don't know that I got much out of it. I really don't. Number 5 is the perfection of concentration. And here, all my viewers who were born in the 21st century are feverishly Googling what that means. Do you mean a concentration of aircraft? Concentration of characters in your World of Warcraft game? No, it's a mental procedure. It's called concentration. It's where you pay attention to one thing to the exclusion of all else. I know, I lost you already, didn't I? Well, that's all right. It's all right. It's not your fault. Your parents started medicating you to blast your concentration to smithereens long before you could consent. Long before you did, they were pumping pills into you. So by the time you reached a point at 13 or 14 or 15 certainly, where you looked and said, well, I'm reading stories, I'm reading novels, and the characters aren't taking medication every day. And maybe I'm Googling what this medication is, and I'm finding out that there were no reliable clinical trials of this thing. And the list of negative side effects is enormous. Why am I taking this every day? And then you Google what happens if you stop taking it, and the nightmares that result there, and possible suicide. And so that trap was sprung on you before you could consent. So it's not entirely your fault that you don't know what the word concentration means. But that's what this is about. It's about that kind of concentration, mental concentration. What do you do, if anything, to get in the reading zone? What is your ideal reading environment? And here, when Mike, in his video, I'll leave a link to his video down below since he's the latest person who did not tag me. In his video, he said he needs complete silence to get in the zone of reading. And whenever this question comes up, I always want to say the same thing. I want to say I need complete silence. I need an easy chair. I need a dog or multiple dogs asleep on top of me. I need that situation in order to be in the prime reading zone. But I don't. I sometimes think that I am in the prime reading zone all the time and am only distracted from it by doing laundry or taking a shower or anything like that. Because I no sooner need to open a book than I am gone. Just gone. Just completely gone. I can try. Sometimes I can keep one ear on the outside world. Sometimes I can do that. But usually I am gone, so that people around me need to get my attention to break that spell. So I don't... Concentrating on reading I don't need any ideal conditions. I wish that I were cool enough to need them, but I don't. I don't need any ideal conditions. I am lost in reading immediately when I do it. So any environment at all is fine. And oh my God, the list of environments where I have read contentedly is long and weird and strange. And then number 6, the 6th perfection, the perfection of wisdom. What is a book where you learn something, especially something unexpected, whether profound or mundane? And here I won't quibble with the term wisdom. I think it gets young men into trouble. But it was meant here with a complete earnest sincerity, so I won't quibble with it. Instead, I will take this prompt to mean a book that unsettled some intellectual complacency of yours and made you start thinking down what could be called a rabbit hole or whatnot. And for me, the answer that I always give is a book by Paco Calvo from a few years ago called Planta Sapiens, in which he lays out all the latest stuff, and for all I know, there's been a lot more research, all the latest stuff that plants cogitate. That despite the fact that they don't have a neurological system or a brain, they think. That despite the fact that they don't have any kind of a lymphatic system or, again, a brain, they feel. Calvo's book talks all about how plants communicate with each other, how they communicate information with each other. Information that the one plant has that the other plant doesn't have until it's communicated. How they react communally with each other. I don't know how much of it was just poetic license on his part, but boy, oh boy, did it get me thinking. I have not fully stopped thinking about that book since I read it. Thinking about the implications, if it's true. If any of it is true. It's just, I'm not fully stopped thinking about that book. So that would definitely count. Planta Sapiens would definitely count. So there you go. That is the perfection of reading tag. And all that's left for me to do is tag people. But considering that no one wants to tag me, I'm assuming no one wants to be tagged by me. I guess if you have not done this tag, and the prompts intrigue you, they're pretty intriguing, then, if you're not soiled by the idea of being prompted by an outcast, a leper, a pariah, then feel free to do it. Anyway, I had fun. And I guess that's a lonely person's only consolation. Anyway, I'll see you later, BookTube. Thank you.